everybody, welcome to Twin Reads. My name is Meg.
And I'm Aaliyah.
And in case you didn't notice by the way we look and the title of our channel, obviously we're twins.
And we like reading.
And we like reading, obviously. So today we're going to do the BookTube Newbie Tag. This is our first video and we thought what better way to start than explaining why we wanted to do BookTube in the first place. The first question is, why did you start this channel? I think the most obvious answer is that we love reading, and when we're not reading, we spend our time watching our favorite booktubers, so we of course wanted to join this community, and we thought making our own channel was the best way to do that.
I think it's also just a love of YouTube itself, you know, you like books, you like YouTube, and you're combining it, because we also like to watch other YouTubers who might not necessarily talk about books, so it's nice to be part of the community no matter what you choose to make your channel about.
I think that's a great point. YouTube is definitely just a community, an environment that's fun to be a part of, so we thought we'd make a channel so we could be a bigger part in it. The next question, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I think the most unique thing from the get-go is that we're twins. Obviously we have more different perspective that we can add to the community. I would say we're also publishing majors in university, so that gives us a little bit of a different perspective on the book world because we are planning on going into it for our careers.
And I think it's also the kind of just what books we find interesting too. Like we like obviously YA, which I think the majority of the BookTube community enjoys, but we also like fantasy, and I really like graphic novels and comics, so I'm hoping to cover those a lot on our channel, and I think that'll make it a little bit more unique.
Yeah, definitely. So I think our book tastes, even though they have a lot of similarities to the other booktubers, we're still going to have differences that you wouldn't get if we didn't make this channel. The next question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I think I'm most excited to finally just get my opinions out there on the books that I'm reading and have somebody to talk to about it. A lot of times the only person I have to talk to is Leah, and that's all fine and dandy until I read a book that she doesn't read, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Can't spoil it.
Exactly.
I'd say it's a similar thing, being able to talk to people that I don't see on a regular basis about books, because I would say most of the people I know don't like books or the same books that I do, so the only person I do have to talk to about it is Meg, so it'll be nice to meet some new people through this and have conversations that I wouldn't get to have otherwise.
The next question is, why do we love reading? That is like the impossible question to answer, because why wouldn't you love reading? But I guess for me, it's the generic reasons, you know, it gives you an escape from reality, puts you in a different universe, lets you try to relate to these other characters. And also, I think I love reading so much because I can really feel like I see the difference in my writing, my abilities to be socially perceptive, to understand other people. I think reading really helps that for a lot of people. I love reading because it enables me to understand the people around me in my real life a lot better than I would have.
And like be a better person because of it.
Yeah.
I'd say like I like reading for all the same reasons, and it's just nice to be able to go to worlds that don't otherwise exist and things like that, and to just be purely like in a different place and to wholeheartedly enjoy it for however long you're sitting there reading it, which is always just really nice. And if something like that somebody else has created, some other person, has so much power over other people, and I think that's really cool.
And obviously we love reading because it connects you to a community of other people who automatically are going to like a lot of the same things as you do. So hence this channel, hence BookTube. That's one thing that's amazing about reading, is it connects people. The next question, question number 5, what book or book series got us into reading? That's also a difficult question because it's hard to pinpoint the exact book where you're like, oh, this is why reading is great. I think for me, the books that got me into reading were Nancy Drew. I kind of didn't love reading chapter books in elementary school. I remember we'd have Dear reading time. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's drop everything and read, and you'd have like an hour of reading, you know, before lunch, and I would always have my book from the library. The media center lady helped me find it, and I would just sit there and stare at the pages and never actually read anything. And I think, you know, I'd flip a page every minute or two. I'm sure my teacher was on to me, but that's beside the point. And it wasn't until I think maybe 4th grade where my mom told me, Meg, you should read a Nancy Drew book. And I read that and I just thought she was the most amazing character. She was a great role model. The mysteries were so fun and adventurous, and I'd never read anything like it, and there were so many of them, they were never ending. So that's definitely probably the book that got me into reading.
And then for me, I think when I think of the books that really made me want to be a reader, I don't really know where to pinpoint it because it's so random, your reading life. And I remember things from when I was young, like Magic Treehouse or Cam Jansen and things like that. And I remember really enjoying those, and those were the things that I really actually read first. But I remember never truly liking reading as much as I do now until I read The Hunger Games in probably 7th grade.
Yeah,
Was that 7th grade?
Yeah, 7th grade.
And I remember reading that, and it was so unlike anything I had ever read because at that point I probably hadn't really gotten into
the young adult genre.
Yeah, young adult, or you know, at that point probably most of the things I read were things that were from school or that would probably still be considered children's or middle grade books. So it was a whole new experience, and I was just like, wow, this is one of the coolest things I've ever read, and it just really stuck with me.
So the next question is, what questions would we ask our favorite booktubers?
How do they stick with it? Consistency seems like it'd probably be the hardest thing. So how they, one, decided they wanted to do it and how they've been able to stick with it for so long would be a question that I'd be interested in
how
knowing.
They find the motivation to make a video every week, how they have the creativity to put something different or new up every week. It's a hard thing to keep up. But I guess I'd also want to know, like, are they happy that they do it? I mean, you could start this easily with a passion and a motivation to want to make these videos every week, but I guess, like, just the same way you hit a reading slump, no matter how much you love reading, you could probably hit a booktube slump. And is there ever any points in time where they're like, don't remember why they started it in the first place? And finally, we are on to question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome?
I think I kind of answered that in the
I
last
think
question.
we
Consistency.
did kind of talk about that in our questions for our favorite booktubers. It's definitely, I'm scared of the consistency of it. I want to be able to put videos out there for you guys on a consistent, regular basis. I want to be able to keep reading my books at the same time. I think that's going to be a really difficult thing.
I am a little bit worried about keeping up with the reading. It's like someone is holding you more than
Accountable.
one someone is holding you accountable to doing your reading. And it's like sometimes it just falls behind because of school and things like that. Like there can be months can go by and I won't read a single book. Maybe I'll read some comics, but you know, sometimes you just don't have time. So that might be a little bit hard.
So I think it will be a challenge to look at reading in kind of a new light. It's still a hobby, but we want to share it with you guys, and we have not pressure from you, but pressure on ourselves to want to be putting out videos for you and reading books and recommending them for you. So I think there's a little bit more higher stakes now in our reading lives.
But in a good way.
In a good way. So that was the final question. We hope you guys liked our first video, the BookTube Newbie Tag. Let us know if you have your own channels in the comments. We'd love to check them out. So thanks for watching the first video on Twin Reads. We'll see you guys next week.